All right. Hello, everyone on YouTube and on Facebook Live. This is Nancy Rebecca with Intuitive Mind. It is Thursday morning here in the Pacific Northwest, a little cloudy, little sprinkles of rain, which we absolutely can benefit from because we've had some beautiful weather the last couple of weeks. So just watching you all pop on. But before I do that, I want to give a big shout out to Emily Woods on YouTube because she posted a couple of things, I think yesterday, was so enthusiastic about finding my YouTube channel, which is called Intuitive Mind with Nancy Rebecca. And I just want to let you know, Emily, I just felt your enthusiasm for my channel just go through the roof. So I just can't even tell you how much that really uplifts me. Hello, Zulu Sue and Phyllis. Hello, Maria. Happy Thursday to you too. Now remember, I am going through StreamYard, so I don't always see who's writing, but later on I can see who's making the post. So if you put your name in the post, then I'll know who's making that statement. So we have a lot of you already coming on. Good morning, Amy, Angelica, two Amy's. Two Amy's back to back. All right, so this morning I'm talking about this frequency, as I said in the August frequency forecast. The frequencies really, the quality of the frequency is changing. You know, we always have frequencies that are moving, but the quality of the frequency is really changing, and it's changing in a really beneficial way. And what that way is, and what the topic of this whole talk about, is how that frequency, the quality of it that's changing, it's like you're able to kind of go through this consciousness expansion and almost don't even realize that it's happening. And that's because the frequency, again, the quality of the frequency of expansion, of awakening to new levels of consciousness is changing as well. So what Spirit told me to share with you all today is just that reminder, always encouragement. Spirit is always providing encouragement. That's why I always am recommending that you really align with your higher self, that you really start cultivating your ability to communicate with your own spirit, because we all need that little kind of cheerleader in our corner, which your spirit thinks you are the most incredible, adorable person on the face of the planet. So who wouldn't want to hear from your own spirit's opinion? So I'm always teaching my own students in my own programs how to really cultivate that relationship. And that's when you can really take off, when you can hear the wisdom that wants to come through to you. So Spirit just is encouraging us, saying, you've been practicing the frequency scales, like learning all the notes on a piano keyboard. You practice by repeatedly practicing the musical scales, even though you might have irritation, frustration, annoyance, which all those energy vibrational frequencies can slow down your progress of learning how to get to that place where you can play beautiful music in your life. How often do you feel frustrated, irritated, and annoyed? And then what does it look like in your life? You stop meditating, you stop reading inspirational books, you may stop listening to inspirational talks. And the bottom line is, you might even stop taking care of yourself. What causes you to want to quit, to stop caring, to not giving a darn about life? And that's kind of where a lot of us are. It's like, why bother? Why even try? Because, the world is a terrible place right now. So, but what I find is everybody, and even you always get up again. You always get to that little bench at the piano. You put your fingers back on the keys. You start practicing all the musical notes so that you can get better again. And what is it that really moves you to get back up all the time? It's your own spirit. You have a spiritual light. So your spiritual practice, this is what Spirit is saying. Your spiritual practice practicing those scales, practicing over and over and over again, even if it's just meditation, or even if it's going for a walk, you're practicing walking and getting healthier. Even, you might be practicing getting 8 hours of sleep, or you're practicing at trying to eat healthier every day. All of those choices that you're making are really starting to pay off. But I wanted to share a little story with you all in regards to kind of what our spiritual contracts and agreements are about being a soul on the face of the planet at this time. So when I had my spontaneous out-of-body experience that rocked my world, turned me upside down, changed everything for me, because I didn't even know that I was a spirit. And a lot of people on the earth do not know that they're a soul. They only think that their human existence and all the ups and downs of human life is the only thing that's real. Anything that you can see, hear, or touch is real. But there is an unseen world that is available to us. And in that kind of unseen world of our spirit, we can always get what all of our needs met through that guidance and that wisdom of our higher self. So it was back in 2003. I had been guided around the year 2000 to sell everything and become portable. So that's how Spirit came through. Nancy, we want you to literally sell all of your possessions and become portable and move around the world as you're guided to. Now you can imagine, I'm playing the notes on the keyboard and I'm like, yeah, that's a complex piece of music that I'm not going to be able to play. So, I get up from the keyboard and I leave, but then I'm called back to it. I start thinking, oh, that was my imagination. And then suddenly I'm meditating again. And that voice that I know as God is saying, you need to sell everything and become portable. So I was able to come up with a load of excuses. And I imagine that you all are too, when it's about making some positive changes in your life. So then I explained, I have kids who are in high school and I just can't leave. I'm in this human body, I'm a mother, blah, 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 blah. So Spirit said, oh, so sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot that you're in a human body and that you just can't make that rapid change like that without considering your loved ones around you. So it was 3 years later, to just 2003, when Spirit suddenly came back in and said, your daughter's about ready to graduate. Your son's already graduated. So now it's time for you to sell everything and become portable. So at that time, that's what I did. I literally walked out the front steps. I put a sign in the yard, for sale by owner, and the first person that looked at it bought my house. And then I started the process of selling everything, letting go of everything, and putting all but my possessions in a suitcase. So this really happened. However, I had money in the bank to kind of back me up, because my trust and faith that I was going to be taken care of was not very much present for me. So what ended up happening was, because that was my fear, I manifested my fear that I wouldn't have enough money. So I ended up selling my house on a partial contract. That meant that I didn't get money out of my house. It wasn't going to come in until later, but it would help me in Africa because I'd get monthly payments. But then I couldn't sell. I had a boat and I had a car. I couldn't sell them. And so I was still making the monthly payment. So before you know it, here it is the day before, well, maybe it's a couple of weeks before I'm supposed to get on the plane, because my first place I'm going to arrive at is South Africa. I had $50 in my bank account, $50 left. That's it. And that's when I call kind of my crisis of faith moment, where it was like, what was I thinking? That's totally getting up from the piano. It's like, oh yeah, no, I can't. There's no way I can do that. What sane person on the face of the planet would still get on a plane and move to a country and have $50 in the bank account? So I'm meditating about this. I said, yeah, I can't do this. I just need to stop this nonsense and go back and get a nursing job. So what ended up happening is this voice that, to me, I recognize as God, I recognize as the creator, came through and said, you promised that if you got that golden ticket to come to the earth during this great time of change, that you would help to uplift others and help others to remember that they're spiritual beings having a human experience, and that you would help with this. You promised. And I'm like, yeah, but this is really scary. I don't have any money. I don't, how can I get on the plane? So then the voice said, but I also made you a promise. And the promise I made you is if you fulfill your promise on earth, I will take care of you in ways you cannot even begin to imagine. So I got on the plane. I got on the plane with my bags. Yvonne was with me. We moved to South Africa. We lived in the middle of the bush, and that's a whole other story. But what I want to quickly share with you was, when I got there, I was living on a piece of property. I didn't have to pay rent. They grew their own vegetables. They had their own food. It was a rich cultural experience. Someone gave us a car to use the whole year we were there. I started teaching classes. I had an abundance of in my bank account at South Africa Rand. I was able to teach classes. We were able to get a little apartment, and we were able to live very nicely that year. So I just share that with you because what is the promise that you made to be here in a human body? I can tell you that promise was not to suffer. All right, if you give me a body, if I come down on earth, I promise you I'm going to suffer really, really, really well. No, that's not the way it works. When you're aligned with your spirit, things can really move well in your direction. So what Spirit said this morning was, energy moves, frequency moves, you can't stop it. Energy is moving. You can't stop it right now. Energy moves in the direction of least resistance. You can resist all you want about your spiritual path, your spiritual purpose, your spiritual consciousness and knowledge. You can resist all you want, but you cannot change the flow that you are going. It's not possible. You're just not that strong at the human level. Your spirit is moving you. I always say, move or be moved. You make that conscious choice to move yourself, or your spirit will move you. And that doesn't mean it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun, but it's always moving in the direction of the least resistance. Today, this month, this week, this year, your frequency is rising. Your frequency is expanding your consciousness, whether you believe it or not. Whether you believe it or not. That's why when I'm faced with skeptics, or I'm faced with people like, this is a bunch of baloney, I'm just like, I just stay quiet and I just keep doing my own thing, because I know their spirit is moving them whether they like it or not. Transformation always leans in the direction that will benefit you the most. I want you to really hear that. Transformation leans in the direction that will benefit you the most and provide you with success. Now, you can go kicking and screaming, and you can make life more complicated than it needs to be, but you are still moving in the direction of transformation. It just depends on how do you like to transform. So that's about a level of consciousness that you truly have. I remember my son when he was at college. Oh my gosh, he'd get so stressed before every test. He'd work himself up into a frenzy. And then he made it on the dean's list. But I said, why do you suffer so much? Why do you make this so hard for yourself? And he said, because I'm used to that pattern of fear driving me. Fear drives me to study harder. So again, he was moving towards consciousness, but he felt like fear benefited him more than trusting and visioning of a successful passing of test. So it doesn't matter in the spirit world, whatever way you choose to get in your car and drive that direction, you're still moving in a transformational way. However, during the transformation, it can be painful, just like I was describing, when you wish to still hang on to the shore. You've heard me talk about that one just in the frequency forecast, or hang on to that bar, or have all the locks on your door and are stopping yourself from walking out on the front porch and down the front steps. As a child, when you're a kindergartner, you can't really handle huge concepts. Beautiful about a kindergartner is because they're highly creative and joy filled, and they don't really worry about the complex ways that the world works. But as we get older and as our brain develops, we can take on more complex concepts that we can maybe understand more. So there's a gift to that, and there's an upside and there's a downside to that, because the upside is that you can use those beautiful minds of yours to take complex concepts and turn them into expansive kind of visions and new discoveries and new ways of thinking and new ways of seeing the world. Or you can take the downside, which is getting so complex, making things so hard that you can't even move out of your tracks. So I loved it this morning because I wrote this talk a couple of days ago and then built into it more yesterday. But this morning I saw Mary Beckman. I don't know if she's on the call today, but she posted something and it said, it's not personal, it's vibrational. It's not personal, it's vibrational. So it's very, very, very true. So again, I've had many opportunities to quit. Believe me, I think that my life would have been easier if I had continued to work as a nurse. I think that every so often. But the truth of that was that work I had grown out of, it was depleting me. It was killing me. It was not soulfully expansive for me anymore. Doesn't mean that it isn't that way for others, but I had a different path of least resistance. So, all right. What did I want to talk to you about? The meditation. Oh, good. We've got a good meditation. Let me take a sip of coffee. Yes, Amy McBride saying, wow, I've had the big quit in front of me a lot lately. I think maybe this talk is speaking to you. So when I was sitting with the meditation this morning and asking Spirit, what's the best meditation that I can lead everyone through in a very short period of time that will help them really kind of get what's happening with this new frequency rising, this rapid activation of consciousness that is happening for you almost in such a seamless way that you don't even know what just happened. So Spirit came through and showed a chair lift. So many here in the Pacific Northwest do snowboarding and skiing. We have huge, beautiful mountains. But if you live in areas where you don't have snow and you don't have mountains, you've never seen a chairlift, let me just kind of describe to you. There's a mountain here. It's called Crystal Mountain. Now, they have 3 different chairlifts. So they have the bunny slope. So the bunny slope is where you're just learning how to ski. So let's use the analogy of you're just starting to connect with the fact that you have a spirit. So on the bunny slope, it's got like a little handheld rope or, a little ski bar, and you kind of wobbly and fall your way over there and you grab hold of the bar and it's moving very, very slowly because you're just getting your feet underneath, your skiing feet underneath you, right? You're just learning. Then there's the medium chairlift that is also, it's like, okay, I've graduated, I can go to the next level. It's also going to move slowly because they kind of built the timing in that way because they know that, yeah, you're about ready to go to the next level, but you still can kind of trip over your own skis. So that chairlift goes higher, but it's still moving at a nice kind of rhythm and flow. When I had kind of semi-graduated to the black diamond path, that's very advanced. I think I fell my way down the black diamond slope, but that chairlift goes faster. I mean, it is moving faster. When you step in their skis, you've got to get ready for that chairlift. It's moving very rapidly because they assume that you have enough skill level that you can move quicker. So I'm using, or Spirit's using this analogy to say, Spirit's going to meet you where you are. If you are just kind of beginning to awaken, it's not going to move rapidly. But for those advanced graduates of my Psychic Mastery School, for those who've been studying advanced spiritual practices for a long time, it's moving very rapidly. And because Spirit is assuming you can do those quick dance steps. Now, there's a mountain that's called Crystal Mountain. And you can go up there during the summer as well. So we're going to imagine that it's summertime and you're going to walk up to, with your tennis shoes on, no skis, you're going to walk up to the chairlift. It's gorgeous. You go sit on the chairlift and it just kind of travels along the ground for a while, but then it starts gaining elevation. This is the rapid activation of consciousness. It starts gathering elevation, but you can still, you're amongst the trees, you can see the ground below you. It goes higher and higher and higher. When you reach the top of that chairlift, Mount Rainier, which is almost 15,000 feet high, is so like breathtaking on a sunny day. When you rise up the top, you're speechless, you can't speak. You get off that chairlift and you can walk around up there, and they even have a little restaurant. So why is Spirit using this as an example? Because this is consciousness. You might be nervous about getting on the chair. You might be nervous as the chair is gaining altitude. But when you get to the top, the new frequency of where your Spirit is taking you, it is breathtaking. It's beautiful. Some of you will stay up in that area and it's like, I like this. I have no desire to go back to where I was. But some of you may choose to say, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I want my family to come with me. Or, oh my gosh, I forgot my camera down at the bottom. I need to go back and get my camera. Oh, I forgot my lunch. I need to go back and get my lunch. So some of you will rise and expand in activated consciousness, but then you'll kind of go back down into your shell. And then you rise and you go back to your shell. But you're not losing, you're just picking up pieces that you forgot along the way, or you want to come back and try to convince, this is classic. We're always trying to convince someone to see how beautiful it is, but if they're not ready, they're not ready. So that's going to be our meditation today. We're going to pretend that we're going to get on this rapid activation chairlift of consciousness. And as you get on, notice what's happening for you as it starts to rise. You need to let go, let go, let go of anything that's holding you back. So let's go. Go ahead and close your eyes and turn within. And say hello to those wonderful bodies of yours. Even if your body likes to kick and scream along the way, you wouldn't stop loving your 2-year-old who's going through the terrible twos. You would pick them up and love on them anyway. So if your own body is kicking and screaming with your activated consciousness, just give it a little love. And let your body know right now that you would really appreciate that you're going to do a little energy shifting here of consciousness, and that you would really love for your body to be in a very cooperative mood during this meditation, and cooperate by letting go. Now say hello to your higher self, your wise self, that part of you that is crazy in love with you, adores you, thinks you are the best thing on the face of the planet. That part of you that wants to shake you up and say, let it go. Don't take all this so seriously. Let's be playful and imaginative. Now, you have 3 chairlifts to choose from. You can choose the bunny chairlift, the bunny slope. You can choose, which is just simply a rope. You can choose the medium one that's a chairlift but goes a little slow, or you can choose the faster moving chairlift. But right now in your imagination, imagine that you are up in the beautiful mountains, wherever those mountains are for you. You're wearing whatever clothes you choose to wear. It can be pants or a dress or shorts. It could be tennis shoes or flip-flops. It could be hiking gear. And go ahead and move towards that little chairlift house where assistants, people, you can imagine angels if you wish, or guides, are going to assist you to get on the chairlift. Is your human self reluctant, afraid, resistant? Or is your human self enthusiastic and happy and joyful? Whatever you're feeling, one is not better than the other. It's just noticing what you notice, sense what you sense, let go of what you need to let go of, and rejoice in what you desire to rejoice as you get on this chairlift. Now imagine you're sitting on the chairlift. You could be sitting with a friend. It can be large enough that you could have a couple of friends with you, but it is an open bench chairlift, and it's going to be moving just above the ground, gaining elevation. You might have energy cords that are connected to people back at the base. You may have energy connected to the past. You may feel afraid to leave people behind that you love. You feel like you're leaving them behind, but you're not. Just keep letting go, letting go, letting go as you rise higher and higher and higher to that expanded view of consciousness. Now remember, annoyance, irritation, frustration, if your chairlift is not moving quickly, slows your ascension. Exchanging those frequencies for trust and faith, just like me when that voice said, get on the plane, get on the plane. I will take care of you in ways you can't begin to imagine. There you go. Move higher and higher and higher. And don't worry when you get to that higher platform, your breath is taken away by the beauty of ascended consciousness. There are assistants up at the top to assist you to get off that chairlift. Playfulness, laughter, silliness can break the spell of burdened weight. So even if you don't feel like you have any good reason to be happy right now, just pretend. This is just a pretending, playful meditation. Do you find yourself looking back down the mountain at the base where you came from? Or are you looking forward at the beauty before you, in front of you, that you're heading towards in your rapid activation of your consciousness? Notice what you notice about yourself. Sense what you sense intuitively. Let go of criticism and judgment. Notice if you want to go back down to the bottom to get your sandwich, or you want to try to convince your family to get on the chairlift, you're absolutely free to do that. Or today, after this meditation, do you want to remain at the top of the mountain on that scenic, beautiful view of nature and mountain energy? So we're going to take about 30 more seconds of quiet as you make your choice of how you want to start off your day today. There you go. Whenever you're ready, thank your body, thank your spirit, thank your guides and angels. Thank God, the Creator, for helping you to experience and maybe understand consciousness a little bit better. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. So Spirit is reminding us, no matter what is going on in our lives, energy moves. You, at the human level, do not have the power to stop it. Energy moves towards the path of least resistance. You cannot resist enough to change that flow. Your frequency is rising and expanding consciousness, whether you believe it's actually happening or not. Transformation always leans in the direction that will benefit you the most, even though it might not seem like it right now. Someone wrote, "This talk is worth $1 million." Yes, I'll take it. I have a friend, she's like, "Where do you come up with this stuff?" And it's like, I believe me, at the human level, I can't. I just stay connected to my higher self, and I am a voice for the divine because I promised. I made that promise, and the Creator has fulfilled their promise as well by taking care of me in ways that 10, 20, 30 years ago, I couldn't even begin to imagine. So thank you all again so much for being on this call with me today. I'm here every Thursday morning at 7 a.m. on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, just to remind you that we have our fall equinox that's coming up. It's a group reading, October, November, December. Whew, I don't know that it's going to be as smooth as this chairlift is right now. So really get your tickets now, make your reservations now so we can move. Remember, move or be moved. So make the choice to move yourself before you have to be forced to move with the activation of consciousness. And then my Psychic Mastery Level 1 course is opening up again for registration at the end of September. So you can join my Intuition with Precision Facebook page to get those announcements, or my mailing list on my website. And you can get on the wait list for Psychic Mastery 1 by going to my website, just clicking Psychic Mastery 1, and at the bottom it'll have a place where you can sign up to be on the waiting list. And then I am currently redesigning Psychic Mastery 2. Remember, I've taught it for 15 years. I took a year sabbatical, and it was wonderful to do that, but I am really excited to get back into Psychic Mastery 2 and working with a really excited group of students over the 2023 year. So thank you all so much, and I will see you next week. And please write in the comments section what that meditation was like for you. I really take that in, and it helps me to know if I should kind of put it in my file folder to use again in the future. So thanks again, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend.